I'm not surprised that Pakistani officials are engaging in saber rattling and, playing the nuclear threat card. We've heard that before. What we had not heard before is this sort of nuclear threat from American soil. And if this was the only incident, I would find it rather unremarkable. But what we are currently witnessing is a trend where it appears that this second Trump administration is tilting towards Pakistan and away from India. We've actually seen it throughout the course of this whole summer. I think that a key turning point was Operation Sindoor, where the Trump administration talked about the India Pakistan conflict as if those two countries are on equal footing, on equal terms with the United States, and that the conflict itself is, that no one party is more culpable than the other, when of course the entire conflict was set off by Pakistan backed terrorists killing large numbers of Hindu civilians. And then the Trump administration came in and claimed credit for reducing the conflict. And the Pakistan was very, very happy with the Trump administration's interventions. They did some personal dealings. They talked very publicly about recommending Trump for the Nobel Prize. And it was really at that time, a few months ago in May, that I began to see this shift from the administration away from India in the direction of Pakistan. I don't see these as independent data points. I see them as part of a worrying trend. I do think that the United States needs to be mindful about being consistent in terms of supporting our allies and not, showing too much warmth to adversaries, including adversaries of our allies and countries that support Islamist extremism and terrorism regionally and around the world. I don't fully understand, to be honest, what this administration is doing with respect to India, because US-India relations are the product of a tremendous amount of effort and investment. And the administration, before it was elected, in the campaign season, attached a lot of importance to the US-India relations with all sorts of projections about the amount of trade between the two countries, discussion of deepening military ties, both bilaterally and through the Quad, and the overall focus of US grand strategy, which we were told is to contain China in the Pacific. And the pillar of US containment of China in the Pacific, we were told, was a strong US-India relationship. And so I projected that US-India relations under the second Trump administration would actually get stronger, not weaker. So it's a bit confusing. Simultaneously, Japan also is a longtime US ally. I mean, not from the very beginning, of course. There's a history there of war, but after World War II, Japan became increasingly an important ally, does a lot of trade with the United States, was seen as a bulwark against Chinese expansion. And US tariff policy to Japan is also seen as very unfair, offensive, and destabilizing to that bilateral relationship as well. And so I don't really understand why, given the supposed importance the Trump administration attaches to containing China, why the US is then weakening our key allies in the region, especially in the Indo-Pacific and India, is that President Trump claimed a lot of personal responsibility for the end of that conflict, for the cessation of, military blows by both India and Pakistan. And I also know that Pakistan became very vocally supportive of the US role and recommended a Nobel Prize for Trump, whereas India really chafed at the level of US involvement, and especially Trump claiming so much credit for the course of that short war. I think that it demonstrates a lack of expertise in terms of understanding how not to act towards India. I think that India feels like it's not being fully respected, and that the Trump administration doesn't fully appreciate its contributions, and also doesn't really regard India as a fully independent country on the world stage, even though it's the largest democracy in the world with the largest population, and soon will be the third largest economy. So I don't think that the Trump administration knows how to speak about India.